Mick Williams, Cyberline with you, 844-Radio-US. Yeah, Google it, 844-Radio-US. Okay, so it's come to my attention that...
why did you keep talking when you weren't on the air?
Yeah, I apologize on that.
I guess he didn't want to hear that.
Notice that while I was talking, it was finally getting to the crux of the matter about the Elizabeth Warren billboard that we were violently thrown into break.
That was put up so close to right in Silicon Valley.
Yeah. And it supposedly has come to my attention. I cannot confirm or deny, but as you know, in the previous part of the hour, I had jokingly said John David Wells's password to his Google.
Uh-huh.
Well, it must have been right, because my understanding now is that there, somewhere in Casa de Wells, is a large red button that says dump.
There you go.
So, Gov, I think, was sending me a signal. And a memo will probably come out tersely on Monday going, don't ever do that again.
Yeah, message received.
Message received, Gov. So anyway, as I was saying, the people that she's targeting are major donors to Democratic parties and stuff. And then on top of that, she's going to be needing money. And then the people below them, the employees, are all pro-Democrat. So why in the maker's name would you go out and say, I'm going to break up big tech? You know what this reminds me of? Remember the crap that Hillary and Tim Kaine were in Virginia and when they tell the coal miners, we're going to put you out of business. Isn't that right, Tim?
Oh, yeah.
And Tim's smiling going, That's exactly what's happening here.
Right. Guess who just hit the bottom of the search list?
Yep. She is going to be lucky if she gets a 2%.
You know that joke is the best place to hide a secret?
Yeah.
On the second page of a Google search?
On the second page of Google search, yeah. About right. Because nobody goes past the first page. But yeah, this blew my mind when I saw this. I'm like, how in the world? Why? I mean, you're just telling them, hey, you guys making those nice little jobs out there? I want to destroy them. That's exactly what she's telling them. She's bat crap crazy idiot.
Well, it's just it doesn't make a lot of sense from at least putting it out there. But on the other hand, I want a little bit of more control over my freedoms, my privacy.
That's what the FTC and everything is for. But you don't go out and all the stuff she's talking about. She's lying. I've watched these interviews. I've watched what she talks about, and like I said, she's claiming, well, these guys are selling stuff and it's hurting the lower guys. No, it's not. They're lifting the lower guys. If you had half a brain and maybe toured Amazon, hey, by the way, Jeff Bezos is a Democrat. Maybe he'll bring, hey, baby, come on down. Let me show you the place. And you actually get a feel for what they actually do down there instead of shooting your mouth off trying to gin up votes.
But just to explore her side of it for a minute,
I don't want to go down that.
You don't want to go down that
place,
road. No, but I do want to see privacy more codified in law because
I think that's the case too. Yeah.
What I don't like is the idea that I don't know what is happening to my data from the standpoint of everything. I just showed you about those purchases, that anything that goes into my Gmail account, all of a sudden those purchases show up over there. And suppose I go in there and turn it off. Does that mean that Google's not going to have access to that purchase information? I don't know. Well, I'd like to see it codified into law.
California's doing that thing where they want to do the data dividend because they make money off of your data, and so they want to have you get checks cut to have them pay you for using your data to make money.
Well, I think that's a little crazy, too.
That's one of the other bat crap crazy things. That one Warren has nothing to do with.
Yeah.
That's the governor of California.
But, yeah, you know what? I think if I'd love to see one of the candidates come out there and say, hey, yeah, we do value your privacy. That's what our Constitution talks about. And when we're inside of our home.
Either side would.
Yeah.
But, again, the problem is the Amazons, all of those guys that they're trying to rein in are also donating to them, too. It's not just Democrats.
Yeah.
It's both sides. She just wants to come in and just run the place like an 800-pound gorilla and just start ripping the place up.
Right. And the fact is we're trading in convenience, the convenience for our privacy. But I wish that there was a better way we could do this.
See, one of the things, hard to believe it's been 20 years, I remember signing up for my very first email and my very first internet service provider at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Remember there was Internet America, and there was like 90-something different service providers in Dallas.
Oh, yeah.
And that's not even including the bulletin boards. And I looked around and I saw how things were going with the way Microsoft was treating everybody and licensing and all that stuff. And I said, I want to keep a very, very low profile on this thing. That was 20 years ago, was in my head. Well, everybody else was like, oh, I'm on the internet, look at that, click, 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 click. And then, of course, social media comes along, and now they're taking pictures of the steaks and sharing everything. One of the things that I can actually say is I don't have this problem like everybody else does because I had the foresight 20 years ago to say, you know what, I really need to control what I put on this thing. And I have. And one of the thing is you won't find barely any pictures of me. I don't take a picture selfie every 4 seconds, and then the facial recognition that these guys have can't find me because there's really nothing to go by.
Well,
and
I'm out there.
My data is boring.
Yeah. I'm out there, but not a ton. I will say more people. I'm not the type that does a lot of posting.
Yeah.
A lot of other people, though, it's not like I won't go get in a picture.
Yeah.
And sure enough, those pictures get, so many posts, so many people post so many pictures all the time. You can't not be in a picture anymore.
Oh, yeah. And then you try to shade, we have this radio lunch bunch media thing that I used to go to, and all the radio and TV guys that get together every quarter. Well, you got this woman who's the wife of one of the guys that runs it. She's going around taking snaps and putting them on Facebook. So I would always cough or hide my head behind somebody like I was whispering in their ear or whatever, so you couldn't see my face in the pictures. And I was like, dude, we want your picture. Said, well, Facebook and others don't need my picture.
Uh-huh.
And then it got to the point they just started steering away from me. The minute they saw I was sitting next to somebody, they wait till I leave, and then they go take the picture. Took them long enough. Okay, so 5G is supposed to be coming. Question is when.
You're right about that.
Yeah.
It is a big question because, frankly, you keep hearing the major carriers, they're pushing back a little bit. Oh yeah, we've got 5G on this, but that's it.
Well,
just this little thing.
I learned some fascinating things this week, and Huawei has been in the news.
We
talked about the whole 5G thing, and they're banning. They're now suing the government.
Yeah, they've been banned from this country.
Yeah, well, they're suing us now because they feel that it's unconstitutional and the rule is against them and targets just them. Well, let me tell you something, guys.
And the reason they're being banned is because of their relationship, their very, very close relationship with their government and their
putting equipment in our systems and being able to grab data and send it back to China and get stuff.
And that's the concern.
They're targeting us about it, saying the U.S. is evil. Well, guess what? Every other European country, including Australia and New Zealand, has banned you too. All of the carriers, 3 carriers in New Zealand said, no, we're not letting you on our systems. No, we ain't doing it. Now, here's some things that happened. A couple of weeks ago, they've been fighting sometime in court between Apple, and we talked about this, Apple and Qualcomm. Because you got to have Qualcomm chips in your phones to be able to do Verizon and Sprint. Well, now it's even bigger because a lot of the Qualcomm chips are doing 5G. And so Apple kissed and made up, but now because of all this fight, it's going to take up to a year and a half to get their specs, testing, and everything done to get an iPhone to market. While everybody else is ready to go, like Samsung, Motorola, and others, it's going to take at least a year and a half. Now, here's a little wrench in the monkey. A federal judge who was kind of following the case went back and looked at it. 3 weeks after they kissed and made up, the stocks went up. They're all back to business as usual. The Fed judge looks at it and goes, no, wait a minute here. I think there's something to do this. And now the case is in play. But now it's going to get worse. It's not going to just affect Apple. It's going to affect everybody.
Oh, boy.
Now, here's the thing. Huawei, this is another thing I did not know. the whole thing in this is patents, and that's the deal with Qualcomm. Qualcomm has the patents. Qualcomm can then set licensing, so every piece goes out, they get a little piece of the action. Well, so does Huawei. I saw a chart, and it had all of these different companies, Cisco and everybody, that's got patents for 5G. Do you know who has the most patents?
I guess we're talking Huawei.
1,100 plus.
Wow.
So now what's going to happen is if somebody comes in, Huawei can sue for patent infringement.
Oh, boy.
And if you kick them out, now you've got more troubles. This thing is a Mongolian stir fry.
I guess it will make our government, look much more closely. Congress will have to look much more closely at this to make sure that the system works.
Yeah. So if you block Huawei and you try to do something on the patents, 5G is going to be tied up in the courts and red tape for God knows how long. So this is more than just an issue with Apple and Qualcomm. This is an issue of the whole worldwide network itself.
Well, jumping into the way China was working with all this stuff. Anybody that wanted to go over to China and work with them, you cannot have foreign ownership of a company in China. 51% of it has to be Chinese owned.
Right.
So if you go over there and try to buy a business over there or, have a company over there, you're going to only own 49% of it.
That's right.
That's
the
a problem.
Chinese are going to be in your pocket no matter what you do.
You've got forced technology turnovers to where you've got to give them the technology and let them exploit it how they see fit. And then, you do have outright theft, and they don't...
IP theft, yeah.
Yeah, they don't support the intellectual property over there.
Which is part of the reason why Trump is doing the whole tariff thing. And
right.
Trying to get it. And mostly, they're pretty much in agreement, but the big stickler is the IP. There's got to be enforcement to where Chinese aren't ripping people off and taking our IP and everything and then trying to duplicate it and make a big mess of it. And that's why they're both digging in their heels. Now, eventually, something's going to come out of this. But until that happens, you're going to see a lot of rock and rolling in prices and tariffs in the news and everything. Don't let it worry you. 5G is going to come. I think once everybody realizes, hey, we ain't making money. Why are we sitting here not making money? Those cases are going to start getting settled real quick.
Right. And see, that's the funny thing, too, is I'm not going to make a major purchase in a phone. I might make a minor purchase in a phone, like get a refurb or something like that. I like to save money where I can on these phones.
And going back to Apple, I talked about the whole deal of how they cater to the Chinese and not to us. Here's a little caveat I just realized I forgot. With the tariffs and everything, that means when the Apple products go in, the Chinese are going to pay extra for it. But you know what's funny about that? Apple is not the dominant anymore in China as it was. There are 3 companies that are the dominant.
And who are they?
Huawei, ZTE, and another one called Oppo. And they're all Chinese made. And by the way, I know a friend who has an Oppo. Those Oppos are cheap, and they will run circles around an iPhone.
Really?
They have great cameras on them, great features and everything. And it's Android. All 3 of them are. And you can do all this great stuff for a quarter of the price and that you're paying for an iPhone. Well, now here's the deal. If the Chinese start getting blustered with all of this stuff, they could turn around and say, you know what, these are over here, these are our companies, and they'll get all the nationalism in there, and they'll take it for the team and say, we're going to support our companies and not yours. And now since Apple is so dependent on Chinese sales, that's going to leave them in the dirt.
Yeah, well, it goes to tell you, just to show you that the hardware for this stuff, it doesn't sound like it is that expensive, because if these companies are able to put out this high-quality hardware and sell it for so cheap over there, then it'd be nice if they had the competitive prices and brought it over here. But everything's so encumbered.
And even with IP, when the iPhone came out, there was a lot of Chinese IP or iPhone knockoffs that looked like the iPhone. It ran Android, but it would do a lot of the stuff. And you sell it to you as, look, it's just like the iPhone. And, of course, it wasn't the quality of the iPhone. It didn't last as long as the iPhone. And there was a lot of features that weren't there that the iPhone had.
Right.
And they had done that for some time. And I think they still even do it now with a lot of the Samsung Galaxy stuff. They try to make it look, don't buy the Samsung. Look at me. I'm much better.
Right.
And they like to pull that a lot.
You know, but some of the phones that are out there being sold right now, they're good prices. There's a couple of them that are under $400. You know, the Pixel, the Pixel 3A, it's right under $400, and then you can get a refurb of the Galaxy S9 for under $400.
For under 400?
Yeah, for a refurb.
Oh, it's not bad. I'll look into that. All right, final minutes when we come back.
Are you drowning in debt? Are you struggling to make minimum payments? Did you know that on average, a household with at least one credit card struggles with over $15,000 in credit card debt? If this sounds like you, know that it's not your fault. Credit card debt happens to good people. Credit card companies lure you in with low introductory rates and low minimum payments. Before you know it, you're in over your head. National Debt Relief has helped thousands of good people just like you become debt-free with our Debt Reset program that will dramatically reduce your debt down to a fraction of what you owe. Our Debt Reset program is customized to get you debt-free in as little as 24 to 48 months with one low monthly payment. If you owe over $10,000 in credit card debt or even personal loans, call 800-274-9490. There are no upfront fees or out-of-pocket expenses. You don't pay a dime until we succeed. Call now to see how the Debt Reset program can work for you. 800-274-9490. That's 800-274-9490. 800-274-9490.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-561-5716. That's 800-561-5716. Again, 800-561-5716.
Money, 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 money. You gotta have it. When you need it, what do? If you don't have a rich uncle, call Lending Tree. With us, hundreds of banks compete for your business, so you'll get loans with competitive interest rates, and in some cases, with no closing costs. So here's the deal. If you need money, call us. Do you want to refinance your current loan? Are you 62 or older and interested in a reverse mortgage? Then call Lending Tree now. 800-634-1315. 800-634-1315. We've closed over $250 billion in loans. We know what we're doing and can help you. Call right now for a free quote. 800-634-1315. 800-634-1315. 800-634-1315. That's 800-634-1315. NMLS number 1136.
Okay, Mick Williams, Cyberline. Not going to give out the numbers. We're in the final minutes. So, I've been seeing a lot of posts since Game of Thrones. Is it Thorns?
Thrones.
I don't watch the thing. But anyway, a lot of women were into it.
Uh-huh.
And since that has gone off the air, they have switched to a particular show, and it's called Chernobyl.
Yeah, it's a mini-series on Chernobyl, and oh my gosh, is it good. You know, and for those of you that remember or don't remember, too young to remember or know about it, but, you know, right around the time I was graduating college, they had a special report on TV. And back then, the only way you got media was through the television that was it. There was no internet. There weren't, you really didn't get phone calls from anybody that said, hey, did you see what happened? No, what are you talking about? You had to watch the nightly news to see something like this.
I was living in Terrell, my first radio job at KTLR.
Uh-huh.
And at that time, we had cable. It was CNN Headline News is where I saw it break wall-to-wall coverage when they actually did news.
So they had CNN back then. I guess they did. It was like, but that was about the only.
Real quick, I think do we have video? Do we have audio?
Yeah, Mick. This is actually from when they took their sweet. They covered this in the in the miniseries as well. When the officials said, "Hey, time to go," after it was too late for mostly everybody. But yeah, this is the initial audio that the government put out as the evacuation, and it is in Russian.
Внимание, внимание! Внимание, внимание! Внимание, внимание! Уважаемые товарищи! Городской совет народных депутатов
And that was pretty much it. And
I think Demania either means attention or
it was attention, dear comrades. The Council of Ministers for this area, because of the explosion at the Chernobyl facility, has ordered the evacuation of the entire, I'm paraphrasing here quite a bit, but
entire city.
Yeah, basically, the entire city and region. And, and I got to back up Bob here because I've watched it, and Mick, honest to God, I have never
It's incredible.
It grips your outside of humor, all the other emotional ranges that one could have, it'll grip each one of those, and you will want to attack your TV in rage because of what those poor people had to go through and the makeup work with the radiation burns. I'm going to tell people now, it is hard to watch. I even had to turn my head, and this is a guy who can handle 24 Die Hard and Lethal Weapon on an easy weekend.
Well, he's one episode ahead of me. I haven't seen the last episode that's out. The last episode will be on Monday.
Yeah, it'll be up Monday at 8 o'clock Eastern. 8 o'clock Eastern, so 7 here in the Dallas area. But yeah, it's honest. And here's a little sidebar to this, and I had talked to you both about this off air before the show went on, and that was on IMDb. It is the highest rated TV show in the history of IMDb.
Wow.
Yeah, it's doing fantastic.
Like 98.9 favorable rating.
But
so,
what is surprising is you don't know how bad it really was till you watch this miniseries. I was kind of shocked. I mean, I was like, okay, I remember Chernobyl, remember the disaster, and it was bad stuff, but you don't know how bad it got until you watch this miniseries, and I strongly recommend it myself. They go over in so much detail all of the different facets of what went on at that time, especially, this is happening in Russia, the USSR, I'm sorry. Yeah. It was happening in the Soviet Union. So the media is all controlled, and you have the government was completely in charge of this thing. And there's a lot of showing how everybody's kind of covering their
there's plenty of CIA.
Yes, they're covering their tails. So, this is nothing really happened here. Everything's fine, and just way too much of that.
It's like
when the disaster was just bad and getting worse.
Yeah,
like Kevin
by
Mick
the minute.
In Animal House, everybody keep calm.
Here's the other little side note as far as production, and Mikhail Gorbachev is played in the movie. Man, whoever did the makeup on his birthmark, and I'm not being funny, it was like that detailed.
Oh yeah,
so,
it was pretty high end for Netflix.
It was a really bad thing, and you just don't know how bad it could have been until you see this miniseries. It's a good miniseries. I strongly recommend it.
I'll try to get some HBO and take a look at that. All right, so we're gonna say goodbye for now, and we'll be out next week. The race will be here, but we're also going to get Spreaker fixed up. And go to Cyberline, go to Facebook.com/CyberlineNet, and we'll let you know about the best ofs and everything once we get that sorted out. In the meanwhile, we'll say goodnight. And in the words of the great immortal Orson Welles, we remain as obediently yours. And happy graduation day, Cindy Tramp.
Hey travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right. Call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
800-871-3291. 800-871-3291. Again, that's 800-871-3291.